What's up guys, Ruppy here, welcoming you to week 1 of the International Battling League. The league is in its 7th season. I have been invited to participate, which is a great honor, as I've already discussed in my draft format video, or my draft analysis video, sorry. If you have not seen that yet, there will be a card in the upper corner, go ahead and check that out to see what I am packing for this league. So week 1, we are going up against the Green Bay Yampers, coached by Brownie. His roster is off to the right, as you can see, and he's got some interesting mons. Togekiss, Copperajah, which is his G-Max, Cinderace, Delmise, Gastrodon, Dracozolt, Ninjask, Mamoswine, Gallade, Golisopod, and Shiftry. Looking at this, a couple of things stood out to me. Number 1, he's got a pretty good amount of hazard control, at least as far as getting rid of them, not so much in setting them up. Copperajah and Mamoswine are his only hazard setters, and they both get rocks. Copperajah, being his G-Max, can also set Steel Surge, which is a potential problem. But he has Togekiss and Ninjask, who are both capable of Defog. Cinderace has Court Change, which is obviously a problem. And Delmise, of course, can spin. Another thing I noticed is that the vast majority of his mons are sitting at an 80 speed tier. Cinderace and Ninjask are the only things that are faster, and of course, they outspeed my entire roster. And of course, Delmise, Gastrodon, Dracozolt's a few points slower, but Delmise, Gastrodon, Copperajah, Golisopod, those things are more bulky, so they're at much lower speed tiers, but everything else is pretty much sitting exactly at 80, which gives me a bit of a window to exploit. As far as things I'm worried about, Scarf Dracozolt is a colossal problem for my team. That thing can tear through a good amount of my roster while barely needing to do anything other than click Bolt Beak. Granted, if he's running Hustle, which I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be, there is the chance it could miss, but knowing my luck, that probably won't be the case. Copperajah poses a few problems just because G-Max, that thing gets an ungodly HP stat, and trying to get rid of that thing is going to just be a hassle. The one good thing about Copperajah, however, is it's got a bit of 4 move slot syndrome for this game, because if he doesn't set rocks, well, if he sets rocks, he could use it as his rocker instead of Mamoswine, but if he's not using it for rocks, then Mamoswine's got to set rocks, unless he's heavily reliant on Cinderace using Court Change to bring rocks over to my side of the field if I set them up. And while I am bringing rocks, I'm kind of not really looking to set them up, at least until Cinderace is out of the picture, if it comes. Which it may not, just because I've got a couple things that can take it on, but we'll see how that goes. Copperajah has options to deal with a good chunk of my team. The problem is, even if he foregos rocks in favor of another attacking move, I don't think he has all the coverage he would be able to pack onto that thing to be able to deal with exactly everything. So let's go ahead and get in my build here. You can probably notice by the EV spreads. Let me just get this out of the way first. In the past, I haven't really been too into doing a whole bunch of crazy EV spreads like a bunch of people do. To some degree, to my detriment. I mean, some people are caught off guard by the fact that I use fairly standard spreads a lot of the time. I really wanted to try to change that, especially after the sheer meltdown I had in my Week 3 LET game, which, by the time this video goes up, that game will have been played probably a week or 2 ago. As far as when I'm recording this, that battle actually took place a couple of days ago, and the video will definitely be up long before this video goes up. I'm still not 100% sure yet if I'm going to do my team builder as a separate video, because I'm trying to cut down on how lengthy my explanation is. So it may be at the beginning of my full video, with the battle afterward. It may be its own separate video. You guys will definitely know when this video goes up. For the time being, I'm still trying to figure that out, and we will go from there. In any case, let's get into my roster, into what I am bringing to this game. The first mon I am bringing is Kyurem, my beloved cryogenic, ready to try to freeze the IBL solid and claim its own kingdom. I'm running heavy-duty boots because of the fact that he has G-Max Copperajah. Plain and simple, Steel Surge plus Rocks equals Kyurem's worst nightmare. I do not want to be losing half of my health when I need to bring this thing in. So Boots at least take that completely out of the equation. Otherwise, I'm basically just a specs-like offensive set. I've got enough speed investment, obviously, to outrun all of the base 80s he's got. I've got a bit of bulk on there. Max special attack to make sure I'm hitting as hard as possible, because I think Kyurem can put in a ton of work for me this game. Ice Beam and Draco Meteor are doing most of the damage to him. Freeze Dry is specifically for Gastrodon, and I guess to some degree the Golisopod as well. And Focus Blast, I was torn between Earth Power and Focus Blast for the longest time, but ultimately I went for Focus Blast, as much as I despise its horrendous accuracy, just because of the fact that I think the power is going to be very beneficial in trying to deal with Caparaja, because Focus Blast almost, if not, definitely kills Caparaja, depending on how he's invested and where he's at if and when Kyurem has to deal with it. Plus, Focus Blast is doing a tremendous amount to him in G-Max form, so if I need to bring in a Mon to pick that thing off while it's still G-Max but it's weakened, then I could consider Kyurem for that role. Now, you're probably noticing the second Mon I've got on here and raising a few eyebrows, and I would not blame you. Yes, I am bringing Volibee to this game, my baby bones. And I have a good reason for this. This EV spread right here, the 40 EVs in Special Defense are really there to help me try to deal with things like Togekiss, Gastrodon, and the like a little better. He's actually got a very physical team here as well, I'm noticing, which is definitely something I can exploit as well. But the 40 EVs allow my baby bones to be able to take on his special attackers if necessary. Getting a Toxic off on Togekiss would definitely help chip away at that thing. Roost Defog, Toxic Foul Play, it seems fairly passive, and anyone who knows me knows I'm usually not a fan of more passive Mons. But Foul Play, since he is primarily a physical team, Foul Play actually does a tremendous amount to a lot of his roster. Roost is obviously there for healing off damage. Defog is so I can get rid of the Steel Surge once Caparaja is no longer G-Maxed or out of the picture, as well as keeping rocks off my side of the field so other things aren't too bothered by it. This EV spread right here, believe it or not, this EV spread, depending on how he invests his Caparaja speed-wise, even with no speed investment, Volibee is able to outpace Caparaja, and the best thing he could hit me with, even at Adamant Max Attack, would be if he's running Max Rockfall. And even that, it would do over half, but I can easily roost off the damage the next turn, and basically stall out his G-Max. Not to mention Foul Play is doing a tremendous amount to Caparaja, even G-Maxed, with that stupidly fat HP spread it can run. Ugh. So, that's the main reason I'm bringing Volibee, because it can, and probably will, be able to 1v1 G-Max Caparaja fairly well, be able to stall out his G-Max, and go from there. The next Mon I'm bringing to the table is Laundry Day, my Rotom Wash. Laundry Day, see you there. I could have gone for a bulkier one, but again, I wanted to run just enough speed with Timid to be able to outrun all of his base 80s if I need to. Especially something like Mamoswine, because even with no special defense investment, at max HP alone, I can definitely take Freeze Dries and scare that thing out with a Hydro Pump. If he's Scarf, that's a whole different story, but even still, I don't think he would really want to try to 1v1 me if he's not locked into Freeze Dry beforehand, assuming he runs Freeze Dry Mamo, which, considering I have Rotom, is definitely a possibility. The sub-Toxic strat is there mostly to try to get around a lot. Basically, Rotom is essentially bait in this game. It's there to bait in some of the things that could threaten it, Toxic them to put them on a timer, and then Volt Switch to get the heck out of there and go into something that can better handle whatever's staring it down. Obviously, this doesn't work with Caparaja, but Sub also allows me to outspeed and stall out his G-Max as well with Leftovers Recovery. And while I can't actually hit Gastrodon with anything, he really can't touch me with a whole lot either. So if I can get a Toxic off on that thing while I'm safely behind a sub, I can wear down Gastrodon without much issue and basically stall that thing out until the end of time. Moving on, we have my G-Max for this league, Hatterene, Hesukia. I'm still working on the pronunciation of that. Basically, it's the Greek spirit of silence, which fits Hatterene's Pokedex entry to a T. I'm running max HP, max defense, a little bit of special attack. I've got an Assault Vest mostly so I can have somewhat of a special wall to be able to deal with Togekiss and Gastrodon, and if he is running anything else special for whatever reason, even though nothing else is really kind of well equipped for that. The max defense bulk definitely helps this thing live some hits, especially when G-maxed. As for the attacks, Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, and Mystical Fire are all kind of just standard fare. Psychic and Dazzling Gleam are both stab. Mystical Fire gives me an answer to G-Max Caparaja. I'm not expecting to get into a 1v1 G-Max battle, but if I need to, Mystical Fire is there for that, as well as being able to at least give me an option against some other things like the Delmies, for example. I'm running Giga Drain as a potential healing move as opposed to something like Draining Kiss. Mostly because, one, Dazzling Gleam gives me more power, especially for a G-Max Smite. And two, the likes of Mamoswine and Gastrodon, they do not want to be taking Giga Drains, and they certainly do not want to be taking Max Overgrowths from this thing. They will be obliterated in a heartbeat. And that is basically Hesuhia's entire goal for this game. To come in, G-Max, do as much damage as possible while taking hits. That's basically all I could ever ask of it. To some degree, it could actually deal with Dracozolt once G-Max, but that mostly boils down to what Hatterene's health is at the time. And it's a hypothetical scenario that we can deal with once I actually get into the game. Next up, we have Cobalion, which I'm choice scarfing for this game. The speed is there basically to make sure this thing is able to outrun all of his base 80s if they're jolly or timid or whatever, max speed with a scarf. This ensures Cobalion will still be able to outspeed all of them while giving me something to pour into HP as well. I'm adamant max attack just because, I mean, this thing's got base 90 attack. It's usable, it's not the greatest, but I definitely want all the power I can get. I'm not expecting Guardian to do a whole lot this game. It's mostly there to be able to outspeed everything if necessary. And that's especially useful for the Dracozolt because with that base 129 speed and my HP investment, I can take Bolt Beaks from that thing and be able to kind of get into a slugfest with it if I absolutely need to. Close Combat and Iron Head are all the coverage I really need on it. Bolt Switch is there so I can get out of there if necessary. I threw Mega Horn in the last spot, mostly so I have a more powerful move to be able to potentially deal with Delmies, because Mega Horn's actually doing more to it than Iron Head would. It's a small little thing. I'm not expecting to really be using Mega Horn a whole lot in this game, if at all, but I figured I really couldn't think of what else to put in that 4th slot that was really going to be of much benefit to me. Maybe Thunder Wave for something like the Cinderace, but I think I can deal with Cinderace well enough with my defensive mons anyway. So I just threw Mega Horn on there. And last but not least is my Cursed Design Runerigus. I was torn on this last slot for a while because a good chunk of me really wanted to bring Salazzle to this game, because I think Salazzle could put in some work, especially with a Sub-Toxic set. But ultimately, I decided Runerigus was absolutely necessary because I need a dedicated answer to Dracozolt. Because otherwise, I've got to play a bit of a hypothetical game that I really do not want to be playing. So that is why Runerigus is here. Max HP, max defense. As I said earlier, I've got rocks on it, but I'm not expecting to be able to set them up really, at least until Cinderace is gone, or even Delmy, so I can't spin them away. Earthquake and Shadow Claw there, so this thing is not fully passive. Earthquake is going to be hitting most of his team. I could have gone Body Press, but I opted for Shadow Claw so I have something to be able to hit the dummies with if necessary. And Will-O-Wisp to be able to burn the things that I can't Toxic. Or be able to potentially nerf Dracozolt a little bit. So, that is my team. I tried to cut this down, but my recording's at about 15 minutes. I will try to get better at this whole explanation thing. I'm working on it. Anyway, that is my team. I will be recording the battle videos as a separate video, so if the two are stitched together, we will throw to that, so that's why you might be getting 2 intros. Otherwise, I will see you guys when the battle gets underway. What's up, guys? Ruppy here, bringing you my Week 1 battle for the IBL, the International Battling League. My Columbus Swoo are ready to go. We are playing Brownie and his Green Bay Yampers. I've got a game plan in place. We will see how well I stick to it and if I can keep myself from falling apart at the seams again like I've done in the past. I know it'll be some time. It was a few days ago I recorded that one. But I do... Even still, the last video I did record as of when I'm recording this, which was my Week 3 battle for LET, I do apologize again for how down and out I got. Regardless, I've got everything all set up. We are good to go. So let's go ahead and get into this and see what he is bringing. Alrighty. Dracozolt front and center. Why am I not surprised? He brought Gallade. Gastrodon's not much of a surprise. Caparaja, which is his G-Max. Cinderace, and Mamoswine. So, right off the bat, no Togekiss is something that makes me feel a little more at ease, because Togekiss might have been a bit of a problem. Gastro is his only real special attacker here. Well, I guess he could run special attacking Dracozolt as well, but I'm half expecting that thing to be Scarf and ready to basically start throwing Bolt Beaks at my face. So... I think I want to lead Laundry Day, because then I can... Yeah, I'm going to lead Laundry Day because that way I can kind of gauge what he wants to do and act accordingly. I think Laundry Day is going to be my best bet here. So let's go ahead and lock that in and see how this goes. Good luck, have fun, Brownie. And let's see what happens. Just standing there with my arms crossed trying to look cool. Alright. So, we are getting underway. He's going to lead Geo, which is the Cinderace. As I'm just going to lead Rotom Wash. So this Cinderace is really of no threat to me. At all. I would not be surprised to see him U-turn out. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and set up a sub. Or he's just going to flat switch, which is perfectly fine with me. Into the Gastro. I am so nice. It's so nice to see you, Gastro. Because now we begin this little stalemate. So with this, he really can't touch me. Two Skulls will break my sub, but I can just keep playing this game if I really want to. I can't actually hurt him, so that I have no real reason to. But I'm going to go ahead and Toxic this thing and start chipping away at it. This is exactly what I said Rotom was meant to do. It was going to be a lure to the things that I needed to basically Toxic. Or otherwise try to hit. So I'm going to be able to poison this thing, which is fantastic. I mean, Gastrodon's not as big of a threat. I have ways around it, but putting it on a timer just makes my job significantly easier. So he's going to hit me with a Scald, which is not going to do anything. My sub is going to remain intact. I can't touch this thing, but I kind of want to stay in here with my sub and keep the Toxic racking up. So I think I'm just gonna waste another Toxic here. just in case of something like that. And he's going to go into Gallade, which I would definitely appreciate this thing being toxic. Alright. So, Gallade is being worn down. That is a definite plus. I'm kind of a bit iffy on this thing, because part of me feels like he could be running Assault Vest on. I mean, Assault Vest is kind of like part of the standard set. But I could Hydro Pump, but he could also just as easily go back in. I mean, I do outspeed this thing. Yeah, I'll go for a Hydro Pump, see what he does. If he goes back into Gastro, it's fine. He's gonna knock off. He's faster than me. That I find interesting. Because I swear I EV'd this thing to be able to I swear I EV'd this thing to be... I think I messed up my EVs a bit. Yeah, when that's bad. When I ran this, when I ran the calc to speed creep for this, I was calcing Adamant Mamoswine. I should have calced for Jolly to be on the safe side. So I may have just made a mistake. That's fine, I can go ahead and Volt Switch out. Now that I know he is faster, he's going to Drain Punch, which... don't take that as well as I would have liked. But, I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch out, get some damage off on this thing. I still have my leftovers too, which is phenomenal. And now... what can I do? I could go into Hezekiah and hit it with a Psychic. I mean, he doesn't have his shift tree, so there's nothing stopping me from just... well, Dazzling Gleam would definitely take this thing out. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Start trying to pressure this thing. He's got Drain Punch. Yeah, Dazzling Gleam definitely kills. I don't see any... he's got Poison Jab, which I'm going to be able to take. He gets the poison off, which is a little infuriating, but that's fine. Because this Dazzling Gleam should pick off Gallade, and that is that thing off the table now. Which I am definitely in appreciation for. Alright, so Gallade is gone. The downside to that is my G-Max Mon is poisoned and missing half of its health. I would not be surprised if he brings in Caparaja right now. Or Dracozold. Dracozold is just as much of an option. Everything else I could potentially take on. I also still could G-Max if I want to. So I'm not exactly in a bad spot just yet. As I said in my team builder, I wasn't expecting Hatterene to put in a significant amount of work. There's the Caparaja. I am not surprised to see you, good sir. Now I've got a couple options here. I could G-Max just to try to get damage off on this thing. I definitely died to a Max Steel Surge. Alternatively, I could go into Volibee as well, which it was basically designed to take this thing on. See how he wants to play that. And honestly, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna send out my baby bones. This thing was designed to take this thing on, so we will see how well that works out. As he's gonna go straight for the heavy slam, no G-Max. Okay. Interesting. I'm just gonna roost up, because I want to see what he wants to do next. I can definitely take another one of those if he doesn't G-Max. I want to see if he's got a rock move. Because if he's got a rock move and he can hit me with max rock fall, then I gotta be a little careful. No, he's not G-Maxing just yet. Interesting. So what is his game plan then? He does have Stone Edge. Well, hello there. So I could make a bit of a risky play here. I definitely take a max rock fall. I'm going to foul play, though. I'm going to go ahead and foul play. I don't see any point. If he's showing no sign of G-Maxing, then I'm not... I think I can get away with not roosting. He's going to go into Gastro. This foul play is not going to do a whole lot to you because you are probably more special attacking. And I would not be surprised in the slightest if you were going to try to Toxic me. So to that degree, I'm actually going to go back into Hezekiah. Because if he does try to Toxic me, I've got Magic Bounce. I am AV as well. Alright, good. So he's already Toxic, so that's not really going to do anything in particular. But this does put me in a bit of a good spot now. Well, I mean, I'm still poisoned because of the poison jab bleeding through my... I'm gonna Giga Drain. I want to see if he's gonna recover. I will gladly take that. Because now I can get... I'm only regular poison, so it's not racking up on me like it is on him. So this should do a tremendous amount of damage. And I should be getting a very good amount of my health back. Thank you very much for that. And now that he knows I have Giga Drain, something tells me he's not staying in. It would not surprise me if he does not stay in at this point. Do I max now? I'm gonna go for another Giga Drain. If I kill this thing, that'd be great. If I don't, yep, that Giga Drain is gonna kill it, so Gastro is off the table, which is nice. And Hezekiah is basically back at full health. I really gotta get used to saying that, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I actually watched a pronunciation video before I started doing any of this recording. Just to make sure I was getting that right, as embarrassing as that probably sounds. So out comes Caparaja again. And at this point, considering I still have my full team, basically, I'm going to go ahead and burn my max now and start firing off max flares. And it looks like he's got the same idea. So this should be interesting. Considering we're both G-Max and I am max HP and max defense, I think I can take a Steel Surge. I don't believe I outspeed depending on what speed investment he's running, though to be fair, actually I have no speed investment, so unless he's running a negative speed nature, he definitely outspeeds me. I'm pretty sure the G-Max turn order would probably indicate that anyway. So we are both going to get Kaiju-sized Pokemon. Again, I should live the Steel Surge, and at least getting some damage off on this thing with Max Flare is going to be appreciated. There's the Steel Surge. No surprise there. I am going to live, thanks to my own G-Max. I'm going to be able to fire off this Max Flare, which is going to give me Sunlight I can toy with, I guess. Not bad at all. So he's at this point, I don't think I need Hesakia anymore. Draco's Old Cinderace, Mamoswine. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to fire off another Max Flare, but I think this is where I'm open to letting my Goddess of Silence go here. I mean, it took a chunk out of Caparaja. It killed Gastro. It did some damage, which is all I really could have hoped for out of this, if I can be perfectly honest. That's exactly what I needed. So there's another Steel Surge. That's going to kill me. So Hesakia is down. And now I need to decide my next order of business here. I've also got to be mindful of my own timer. Honestly? I'm gonna go into Laundry Day, because I can sub to stall out his last turn of G-Max, and in the process, I also can proceed to scout to see if he is running Power Whip on this thing to run Max Overgrowth. He is. Good to know. So he's got Power Whip, he's got Heavy Slam, he's got Stone Edge. Which I guess is the most optimal thing he could have gotten out of this, I suppose. So his G-Max should be wearing off. I don't get the... So the bad news is because I set up the Sun with Max Flare, Hydro Pump is not doing as much to this thing. I can definitely Volt Switch out, though. What would I want to go into? Get some damage off regardless. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch. Damage is damage. So I'm wondering if this thing does have rocks, or if he's simply... I'm gonna go into Baby Bones. As he proceeds to Power Whip, which is perfectly fine with me. If I can eat that up, no problem. I definitely kill this thing with a Foul Play. I know that much for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and Foul Play because I outspeed this thing. And if he brings in any... All he has left are physical attackers, so if he doesn't let this thing go down to Foul Play, anything else he brings in is certainly not going to appreciate taking it. To be fair, I think now that its G-Max is burned, I think Caparaja has kind of outlived its usefulness. Because it doesn't have the HP buff. Yeah, he's just going to let this one go. So, Volibee does exactly what I needed to this game. It didn't... I wasn't exactly taking on the G-Max, but the fact that I did proceed to kill Caparaja with a Volibee, I will take pride in that. Hello, Mamoswine. I am not surprised to see you. honestly, at this point... I'm going to try to roost, but I think I'm willing to let Baby Bones go here. Oh, he's going to set up rocks. In retrospect, I probably could have defogged. So he's definitely... So I don't think he's choice based on the fact he set up rocks. Which means I should be able to take a hit from this thing and be able to defog everything away. I mean, he could flinch me with Icicle Crash. That's always a thing. Yep, I take that fairly well, actually. Or at least better than I thought I would. And he does get the flinch. It's annoying, but... I'll try to defog again, just in case he misses the Icicle Crash. I probably should have defogged from the get-go. He's not going to miss it, and I'm going to lose Volibee. Which is perfectly fine. I am fine with that. Because honestly, at this point, actually... Would I... Yeah, I'm just going to send out my Scarf Guardian. Because at this point, I'm definitely smashing something. Yeah, I'm going to go Close Combat. I'm smashing something with this Scarf Close Combat. Mamoswine dies. Dracozold's not going to appreciate the damage from it. Cinderace definitely die. Well, actually, I don't think Cinderace... Does Cinderace die? Well, we're about to find out. It does not, but it takes a tremendous amount of damage in the process. So... Would I think... No, I'm almost 100% certain that Dracozolt Scarfed. I'm gonna stand in close. I'm gonna close combat. And I am gonna proceed to pick off the Cinderace, which is beautiful. Cinderace did absolutely nothing this game, which I will take all day. So if there's ever a time for Dracozolt to surface, now is the time. Because I'm at -2 defenses, so a Bolt Beak definitely kills me. And speak of the devil. And this is why I brought my Cursed Design. I want to see how he plays this. Because this thing being... I am almost 100% certain that his Pumpernickel fossil dinosaur thing is Scarfed. Because it makes the most sense given my team composition. So I will preserve you for later. I will go into my Cursed Design. Which, if he locks himself into Outrage, I'm 2-hit KO'd. But that's not doing it. He's gonna Earthquake. Okay, that is fine with me. Actually, kind of a smart call on his part, actually. This Earthquake definitely would have killed me. I'm going to Will-O-Wisp. Regardless of whether he's locked in an Earthquake or not, burning Mamoswine would definitely help at this point. And I'm going to miss it. My luck with Will-O-Wisp is... so good. I'm going to go into Laundry Day at this point, because Laundry Day is my most expendable mon. If it somehow survives, which I don't think it will between the rocks and the... Yep, he's going to go Icicle Crash. Let's see. Do I live this? No, I do not. So he is Life Orb. I'm going to send out Kyurem now. Because Cryogenic is definitely going to do something here. For sure. So I am exerting my pressure. He is definitely at a range where Draco kills. And I trust hitting Draco far more than I do Focus Blast. So goodbye, Mamoswine. Indeed. And all that remains is the Scarf Zolt. Or at least, I'm almost 100% certain it's Scarfed. Nothing else makes much sense. And to that end, I'm just going to go back into Curse Design to try to maybe preserve some differential here. Worst case scenario, I can wear it down to a point where, depending on what he locks himself into, I can make my next move accordingly. Because Boltbeak does, if he is Scarfed, Boltbeak does not touch my Runerigus. Outrage barely puts a dent in Cobalion, though if I close combat, the defense drops to certainly do something about that. Let's see what he does. He's gonna Dragon Claw. Alright, I'm fine with that. He's running Bolt Absorb. Interesting. I was actually not expecting to see him running Bolt Absorb. I would have figured Hustle. So that actually takes a huge weight off my shoulders. I'm just going to go ahead and Earthquake, because it's going to do a tremendous amount of damage to this thing. Well, he's going to get his Volt Absorb. Well, no, he's not. I'm going to keep it. And I'm not making any contact, so he is stuck with Wandering Spirit. And at this point, I'm going to go for another EQ. I think he might take me out with another Dragon Claw from this range. Yeah, he definitely does. But he's locked in. I'm Scarf Cobalion specifically for this reason. And I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a close combat and put this thing to bed. So, GG Brownie. That was a great game all the way around. That crit certainly did not matter. That's just salt in the wound at this point. Oh, but GG Brownie. That was a great game. That was a lot of fun. I am glad my defensive things worked out to the way I was hoping they would. That was the crux of my whole plan. And I'm kind of actually glad I swapped in Runerigus now as opposed to Salazzle, because I think that definitely made all the difference at the end there. So, we are 1-0 plus 2 to start our IBL adventure. Definitely not bad, if I do say so myself. So, with that all said, thank you guys so very much for watching. I've been Ruppy / however you want to refer to me. I love how that's becoming a thing now. And I will go ahead and see you guys next time. Take care.